Okay, so let's go through this spread. It seems a little bit rough. So we have 5 major arcana cards coming through. So I do feel it is going to be an impactful, eventful month. And let's start just with the overall energies. It seems to me as if a lot of you are fired up about a situation, okay? You're starting out here, Knight of Wands, very, very fired up, very passionate, feeling very, very strongly about something. And whatever it is that you believe in and whatever it is that you feel very, very strongly in, I feel like you're willing to go to war for it. And once you believe in something and the other person is not relenting, you feel like you have to make a point. So I do feel like you're ready. You know that it's a hard task, convincing the other side. But because you're so passionate about it, you don't care how much work it's going to take to be required of you in order to just get the other person to see things from your point of view. And I do feel that you're very fired up, very passionate about something, and you're going to do it either way. This might have been something that happened around the eclipse season. And I do feel as well that this is something like an old pattern where you feel very strongly about something and you rush head first just to prove a point, okay? And I feel like Scorpios are very, very rational people in general. You have a firm control of your emotions. You feel it very, very strongly. You might, have a lot of passion, a lot of just strong, very strong, directed feelings for a person. But you can separate, your personal life from your private life. In this situation, I do feel it might be work related, where someone is doing something they're not supposed to and you don't agree with them and you're going to get into, full confrontation mode. It might have happened in the past week and you're dealing with the residual effects of this. And I do feel that whatever happens, you did the right thing. You're showing up here as the Death card in the upright position. You're shown here as the Knight of Wands in the upright position. So you are fighting for a cause and you're doing it the right way. So, whatever it is that you're pushing against, I feel like you did the admirable, the honorable thing. And because of it, you actually have some divine protection here. The Hierophant indicates, structure, systems, rules that were put in place. And because you were following the rules, the Hierophant brings about divine protection that will help you from, if it's a work situation, you will be protected from legal ramifications. If it is like gossip and, human social interactions, you are going to be protected from people smearing your name, throwing you under the bus, dragging your name through the mud. You're going to be protected as well because the person in charge of this company, this institution, they're going to lay down the rule and they're going to say like, no, Scorpio did the right thing. So we should really just let it go. Okay, so I do feel like it's a heavy hitter type of month. And it's really difficult to sort out the energies for each individual cards. But I feel like with 5 major arcana cards, Hierophant, the Devil, the Empress, the Strength, and the Death card, you're very fired up first week of the month. And then there's a sense of self-doubt. Did I do the right thing? Was I being too forceful? Was I being too pushy? And then towards the end of the month, you're going to realize, yes, I did the right thing. And there's no going back to it. So you're going to be okay. So just let the month play out. Don't take it one day at a time. Don't doubt yourself too much because I do feel you did the right thing, okay? And the people around you, they're going to realize that you did the right thing. You're very procedural, and I feel like you are very calculating before you calculate the effects before you take a certain course of action. So that alone should be, a good indicator that you are doing the right thing. So don't worry about it too much. Let me see what else I'm picking up here. For for some of you, okay, so for those of you who are involved with like a fire sign, okay, the fire sign is in the upright position. Okay, so confrontation, that's what it is. If you are involved with a fire sign, this is Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. This is somebody who is very, they have a good moral compass. They have a very strong sense of personal integrity. And once they are fired up, they won't relent. So if you've been Scorpios, I know you're very secretive. If you've been seeing other people behind their back, for example, they're in the upright position, so I can't read it as if they're sneaking out behind your back. I don't sense that's the case. I do feel that for some of you who might have been dating one party and then stepping out, it might have been something that happened in September. A little act of indiscretion is coming back to haunt you. You might be confronted, and this person will not relent unless they hear the truth. So the thing here is, if this is a situation that you're dealing with, and they're very upset and they're very hurt and they want to know the truth, and you don't want to lose them, so then you might be evasive. You might, try to hide behind a cool exterior, or you might try to not outright lie, because I don't have the Ace of Swords reverse or the Seven of Swords upright. So you're not really lying, but you're trying to evade their questions. You're trying to dodge the bullet, and you're just trying to make yourself, unavailable so that you don't have to be confronted. But I do feel this energy is so relentless, and they're not giving up. It could be, even like a suitor who's very interested in you, and they're following you, almost to the point of obsession. But yeah, almost to the point of obsession. But in this specific situation, I do feel if you've been kind of like caught, and the other person is, and you're just like, I was stepping out, I was wrong, why don't you just let it go? And then they ask you all these questions, and they want to know why. It's because they don't understand things from your point of view. So if you really care about them, if you want them to be in your life, and if you want forgiveness, it's actually very important for you to give it a voice, okay? When people ask us, obvious questions. So for example, like, why did you cheat on me? It might seem like it's an obvious question, but there are definitely a lot of ways in which the answer can go. So it might seem obvious to you, I never cared about you enough to begin with, or I was just tempted by another person. Those are like reasons, but they don't really get at the underlying issues, which is that they feel as if they're not enough for you, and they feel as if it's a rejection from your end if you cheat on somebody. That's what it is, because people don't understand that. And they feel as if, you're a horrible, horrible person, and they get really upset and they get very hurt. But the bottom line is, if there is definitely indiscretion in relationships, or infidelity, somebody stepping out of the relationship, or somebody flirting with other people while they're attached, it basically means that, whoever you're with is not doing it for you. Even if you don't think it's like that, they think it's like that. So it's kind of like an attack on their own sense of worth, and they feel as if they're not good enough. So the point I'm getting at here is, if you've done something wrong and people want to know the truth, you owe it to them, actually, to give them the truth. I do feel, that's just the way things work. You've done something wrong, you have to deal with the ramifications. And this is coming in, interestingly, like in the middle of the month, when we are completely out of the Mercury retrograde cycle. So it's a good time for both parties to recoup, regenerate their sense of, digging through, sorting fact from fiction, and also confronting one another. So I do feel there is a confrontation happening. It's sort of like the higher order and baser desires, okay? And that's like the devil too, linked up with this. Whatever that was wrong, based on baser desires is going to be brought to light so that there can be some type of reckoning or there can be some type of restoration. It can be good or bad. And for a lot of you, if you've been, dealing with somebody who has stepped out of the relationship multiple times and you're like very physically attracted to them and you give them a lot of leeway to step in and out of the relationship, you're going to realize that it's corroding your sense of self-worth. And you're going to realize that by allowing the other person to walk all over you, you're sending out messages to the universe that this is how much I think I'm worth. So don't do that. Don't send out negative vibes, and also demand what it is that you feel you're worth, okay? Demand more. Go above and beyond, because everyone is worth to be treated with respect and dignity is what I'm sensing here. So you might want to reassess how it is, how much leeway you're giving to the other person, how many times they've been, dishonest and just not operating at their best, at their highest self. So if it has been a very toxic relationship and you've had to contend with it for quite some time and you're tired of, having to put up with this burden, just drop it. Just drop it and let it go, because by the end of the month, it's going to be dropped anyways. So you're in a good phase by the end of this month. So, the sooner you can come to terms with this, the sooner you can get the answers, pry the answers out of the lion's mouth. Whoever your adversary is, the sooner you can get the answers, the sooner you can achieve like that state of Zen where you're just telling yourself, I'm better off moving on because I deserve a lot more, okay? So whatever it is, I feel like it's going to play out well, and it's going to end well for you. Okay, there's definitely answers coming to light, or at least there's a sense of tranquility, a calmness about you by the end of this month, where you're realizing, I do have the support from a higher power, and I know I'm on the right track. So I don't need, validation. I just need to know from my inner self and from the institution or what a company, whatever it is that you've been working in, that as long as there's validation from that source, you're in a good place and you can move on. I also sense as well that I also feel as if there is an act of like indiscretion with an authority figure. It's something that you didn't really, so for example, it can be in a workplace or it can be in an academic setting. It's somebody who is like an authority figure. You were like walking down the hall and, you stumbled upon something that you weren't supposed to see. And now they might, they don't know if you saw it. You don't know if they saw you. So it's one of those situations and you're trying to lay low and you're trying to you don't want to lose your job. You don't want to be confrontational. You don't want them to confront you. So you're just trying to like hide under the radar or slip off the grid. And I feel like you stumbled upon something. It might be office romance with a boss and like an employee, or it could be a situation where, somebody's like, I'm getting somebody is like trying to conceal the truth. And as a result of it, you're kind of like, I shouldn't have seen this. I don't know what's going to happen to my job. And I do feel the energy is very unnerving. And they're afraid. They're as afraid of you as you are of them. And I do feel that there is going to be a truce that is reached by the end of this month, where you can either, exhale that sigh of relief, that, okay, we're just going to agree to not talk about it, or this is not a good environment that I want to be in, so I'm going to go. So I feel either way, you are taking the moral high ground and you're going to be protected, okay? So for a lot of you, I am sensing almost as if you're in a new work environment or you're in a new office and you don't know your way around just yet, and you walk down a hallway and you stumble into something that you're not supposed to see, and it got really awkward, and you're just like, I do feel a little bit of embarrassment, But, you know, you stumbled into somebody doing something they're not supposed to. So don't feel embarrassed about it. There's nothing you have to do to hide, okay? So stand firm, walk with your head up. There's nothing you did wrong here. So, you know, it's from your external environment, so don't feel bad about it. It's going to get resolved too by the end of this month, and then you all can possibly laugh it off. Either way, I do feel that, you know, don't be on the defense about anything, okay? I do sense strongly there's that culmination of like making order out of chaos. Making order out of chaos. So whatever chaotic situation that was, it's like, you know, the first 15 days of the month. So be very careful. Knock first. Let's go with, before you enter a room, just knock first for the first 15 days, okay? So that you don't catch anybody unawares. I'm sensing, you know, the hands are raised. If you look at both of these cards, the hands are raised. It's sort of like you might want to knock first. Okay, and you don't want to catch anybody unexpectedly. So, especially if you're in a new company, if you're in a new work environment, and especially when the end of the month is Halloween. So you just want to be a little bit careful. Like I'm getting here as well, making the last 2 weeks of the month is going to be like creating order out of chaos. And then the first 2 weeks, you're walking around trying to figure something out. And you're relentless. You're trying to figure something out. And what you see is not always what you get, okay? The Devil and the Hierophant, it's a card for 3. They're in the same posture. So what you thought was actually really bad was actually something that is really good. So I do feel, you know, that veil being lifted, where what you see is not always what you get. So be patient. Don't attack too soon, and clarity is going to come through for you by the middle and the end of the month. So bits and pieces of information will sort themselves out. You start to see the bigger picture, and by the end of the month, you're going to walk out okay. For those of you who are dealing with a fire sign, as a romantic love partner, I do feel a lot of physical attraction coming through here, okay? And I do feel that whatever it is, if it's a new person and the relationship itself is very, very stable because they're in the upright position, so I sense a lot of stability. I feel like they're going to need a lot more time from you, but you're very busy, so you might be emotionally unavailable, and this is something that they're insecure about. Okay, so they're very passionate. There's a lot of just, you know, physical energy about them. They want to be with you, but you're not feeling, you know, you're not feeling completely confident, or you are really busy with work. You might feel under the weather, or you might have just like, I feel like there's some element of someone pursuing you, and then another person is like laying low. But it could be because, you know, you are very busy, and they're demanding a lot more time than you have to give. Communication, that's the key in that situation, okay? It can be minor like that, or it can just be encountering something embarrassing on the work front, and you're trying to lay low and you're trying to slip off the grid altogether, and then you're being called in by the voice of authority to retell your story, and it might make you feel a little bit embarrassed. It might make you feel a little bit vulnerable, but I do feel this is something that needed to be exposed so that the discomfort goes away and you can emerge with a new path, okay? So what's at the bottom of the deck here? I'm looking at the Death card, and I'm trying to figure out what he is moving towards, and it indicates to me truth being revealed, basically. The Seven of Swords is usually somebody doing something they're not supposed to in the reverse position. It means recounting the story, retelling the story, whatever it was, acts of indiscretion that was happening. You're going to have to be brave about it, and you're going to have to tell the truth and tell the unbiased version of whatever it is that you feel happened, okay? So that's going to be required of you, and it's going to clear the air for the awkwardness to just dissipate. So it's actually a very, very powerful month, Scorpios. You have some heavy hitters here. I feel you're going to be okay because, you know, the transition throughout the month, there's a little bit of discomfort, there's a little bit of evasiveness, but you're starting out Knight of Wands, you're ending with your card, the Death card. So order is going to be restored. You're going to be okay. You're going to be protected, and you're going to be called upon to disclose or divulge some type of secret. But I do feel it's kind of like that heavy burden lifted off your chest finally, because now everyone knows, so it's not too bad.